My name is Jennifer, and I'm 34 years old. 2 years ago, I married David, a coworker I fell in love with at work. Back then, I had planned to keep working after we got married, but David had a different idea. I'll work hard outside, and you take care of the home. That's my ideal. Men work outside, women protect the home, he said. Blinded by love, I agreed to quit my job and become a full-time homemaker. I didn't think twice and let his opinion guide me. Looking back, I wish I had stood my ground and kept my job. Maybe things would have turned out differently. Being a homemaker isn't as easy as people think. Cleaning, laundry, and even neighborhood meetings take up so much time. It's exhausting to manage all of it every single day without a break. Unlike regular jobs, homemakers don't get weekends off. On Sundays, when David was home, I'd sometimes ask, "Hey, I'm really busy. Could you help clean the bathroom?" But he'd get annoyed right away. "Seriously, I work all week to provide, and now you want me to work at home too? Who do you think puts food on the table?" he'd say angrily. If I ever tried to explain, "I appreciate everything you do, but we're a team, right? Can you help out just a little on your days off?" David would snap back harshly. "Stop bossing me around. Do you think you could survive on your own as a homemaker? Want a divorce?" It hurt every time he said that, but he never seemed to care. David often used the same harsh words against me. "Just because you're home all day doesn't mean you can't boss me around. If you don't like it, let's divorce. Do you really think you, just a housewife, can survive on your own?" Every time he said that, I felt crushed. I didn't know how to respond. Over time, it felt like he used the word divorce as a weapon to control me. I had left my job to become a housewife, and the idea of divorce terrified me. How would I survive? Where would I live? What about money? Being a housewife, I felt stuck and powerless. What scared me most wasn't just the thought of divorce, it was David himself. He used to be so kind. How had he changed so much after we got married? I couldn't help but wonder if I had made a mistake marrying him. I regretted it deeply. When David came home from work, he'd say things like, "You should greet me at the door when I get home. I'm the breadwinner. Who do you think pays for everything here?" Sure, David earned the money, but I took care of everything at home. We were supposed to be partners, equals, but David acted like he was superior, treating me as if I were beneath him. At first, I thought he might just be taking out his work frustrations on me, so I stayed quiet, but his behavior only got worse. Every day was the same. When he came home, he'd throw his suit on the floor without a second thought. I'd pick it up and toss it into the washing machine. This was my daily routine. After eating the meal I worked hard to prepare, he'd complain, "Is this all you can cook? I work hard, and this is the dinner I get. Where's your gratitude?" I was exhausted. David's constant criticism wore me down, especially since he didn't even earn a particularly high salary. I was tired of being treated this way. I managed our finances carefully, saving for our future children and keeping expenses low. I always tried to prepare healthy meals with nutritious ingredients and less salt. But David still found reasons to complain. It felt like nothing I did was ever good enough, and my confidence kept shrinking. On top of this, David demanded $500 a month for his personal expenses. If I gave him that much, our finances would fall apart. At first, I used my savings to cover the gap, but that wasn't a long-term solution. To make ends meet, I decided to take a remote job without telling David. I had brought up the idea of getting a part-time job before, saying, "Things are a bit tight. Do you mind if I start working part-time?" But David snapped, "What? You think I don't earn enough? You probably just want extra cash to waste. You should stick to taking care of the house." Knowing his attitude, I was sure he'd just take more money for himself if he knew I was earning. So, I kept it a secret. The money I earned went towards our living expenses and savings for the future. A former coworker helped me find this remote job. I logged into the company's system and handled administrative tasks, like managing employee travel expenses. The work wasn't hard since I had experience from my previous job, and it felt good to have a sense of purpose again after being home all the time. One day, after juggling remote work and house chores, I was exhausted. I decided to take a short break and lay down on the sofa, but I accidentally fell asleep. In the evening, David came home and woke me up. It was already nighttime, dinner wasn't ready, and neither was the bathroom. David saw this and sighed loudly. "What were you doing all day? Lounging around and neglecting the house. I come home, and you're just napping on the sofa. Seriously, homemakers are nothing but leeches." Usually, I'd stay quiet when David said things like that, but I was too tired that day. I snapped back. "What's your problem? I just happened to fall asleep today. Stop acting like I do nothing all day." David wasn't expecting me to talk back. His face turned red with anger. "You're defying me. I'm the head of this household. How dare you speak to me like that? If you're going to be this defiant, then leave this house." "Maybe I will," I shot back. "I've been waiting to take some time for myself anyway." It was a classic case of tit for tat. I quickly packed a few essentials and left for a nearby hotel. The shocked look on David's face as I walked out was priceless. He probably never imagined I'd actually leave. In the past, if David had told me to leave, I'd have been too stunned to react, but things were different now. I had my remote job as a source of income. Being confined to the house and only doing chores used to make me feel isolated, but this job became my lifeline, a way to connect with the outside world. It felt amazing to be appreciated and thanked for my work. Seeing my efforts rewarded with a paycheck was something David never gave me sense of gratitude or recognition for everything I did at home. This job had become a significant part of my life, and now I wasn't afraid to stand up for myself. Thanks to my remote job, I had gained confidence and strength. I thought some time apart might be good for both of us. With that in mind, I stayed at a hotel for about a week. During that time, I continued working remotely and even uncovered fraudulent activities by an employee at work. One day, my phone rang. It was David. I had been thinking it might be time to return home, so I hoped this call would be the perfect opportunity. When I answered, David said, "Hey, isn't it about time you came back? You've had some time to reflect, right?" Reflect? Who does he think needs to reflect here? I was stunned into silence as David kept talking. "You must be missing me, right? Life must be tough without me. If you apologize, I'll let you come back home." His arrogance was unbelievable. Who does he think he is? But I decided to play along. I said humbly, "I'm really sorry. It was my fault. I miss you every day. Please let me come back home." To my surprise, David sounded so relieved. "I knew it. You can't handle life without me. Fine, come back home," he said. He didn't even realize I was acting. When I returned home, I was shocked. The house was a complete mess. Clothes were scattered everywhere. With barely any space to walk, the trash was overflowing, filling the house with a foul smell. Dirty dishes were piled up in the sink. In just a week, David had managed to turn the entire place upside down. I was almost impressed. I thought maybe David would have cooled off during my time away, maybe even taken care of the house, but all my hopes were shattered when I saw the mess he left behind. He probably called me back because he couldn't handle the chaos anymore, not because he missed me or felt sorry for how he treated me. Realizing this, I felt disappointed in him all over again. I couldn't believe things had gotten so bad, but in a way, I was thankful for this moment. It gave me the push I needed to carry out the plan. I had been preparing for him without hesitation. For about a month, I acted as if everything was fine. I cleaned up the mess David made and followed his every command, even when he complained. Then, the day of reckoning arrived. I carried out my plan. When David came home, I hadn't prepared dinner or cleaned the bathroom. He walked in, angry that I didn't greet him at the door or have dinner ready. I simply apologized. "I'm sorry, I was so busy today that I couldn't get to it." Fueled by my submissive response, David lashed out even more than usual. Then, he said those words, "You're just a parasite. You can't make money and can't even manage the house properly. I wonder what would happen to a woman like you if we divorced. Maybe I should just file for divorce." I had been waiting for him to say that. The word divorce had become a weapon he used against me. With a smile, I replied, "You don't need to file. I've already prepared the divorce papers." David looked confused, so I showed him the divorce papers, already signed by me. All you need to do is sign, I said. David panicked. He never expected me to actually agree to a divorce. No, you'd be the one in trouble if we divorced, right? He stammered. Don't worry, I'll be just fine, I replied calmly. Haven't you noticed? David looked around the house in a panic. Where's the TV? The fridge is gone too. David started panicking when he saw the empty spaces where the TV and fridge once were. What's going on? He asked, looking around. I calmly replied, Oh, did you forget? I bought the TV and fridge when we moved in, so it's only natural that I take them with me when we divorce. I had everything I bought removed by professionals. David's face turned pale. Wait, you can't divorce me. How will you survive without my income? I sighed and said, Don't you get it? The person handling expense claims at your company that's me. David was stunned. We never met face to face at work, only communicated through email or chat, so he had no idea it was me. Yes, I continued. I've been working remotely from my former workplace, which happens to be your company. The acquaintance I mentioned, he's a colleague from there. I was hired part-time to work remotely under my maiden name. I kept it a secret because I didn't think you'd remember my maiden name. Turns out, I was right. I paused for a moment, letting that sink in. And I'll tell you one last thing. Your expense claims, they didn't add up. So, I looked into it. David's eyes widened in realization. What are you talking about? Those business trips you claimed to take. I found out they were fake, I said, my voice steady. I knew you were home those days, so I cross-referenced your claims. You were embezzling money by making up travel expenses and hotel stays. David's face went ashen. He thought he'd gotten away with it, but I had all the proof. I found all your fraudulent claims. At first, I wasn't sure if I should report it, but after a week in the hotel and hearing your phone call, seeing the mess at home, I made up my mind. David was speechless, realizing he was caught, and there was nothing he could do to fix it now. I knew I had to be the one to end things with David. I've already reported everything to our boss, I told him calmly. Tomorrow, when you go to work, they'll call you in to be questioned. You've been misusing company funds, and it's only right that you face the consequences. David's face twisted in panic. Thank you for everything, I continued, but I'll be happier on my own. Goodbye. I walked out of the house with a sense of freedom, leaving a stunned David behind. Later, I learned that David had been dismissed from his job, and without his job, he found it difficult to find another one. He's now attending a job support center. The house was a mess, just as I'd expected. David tried to convince me to come back, but I had no intention of doing so. I left all the legal work to my lawyer and finalized the divorce. As for me, I switched from remote work to full-time and fully returned to my career. I'll stay single for now, but when I'm ready, I plan to find a new relationship. This time, my criteria for a partner will be someone who shares the responsibilities of both household chores and raising children.